The most outstanding fact about technical analysis, particularly when it comes to the analysis of altcoins, is that you can see Bitcoin and forecast where you think it's going to go, but then upon analyzing an altcoin, you have something completely different from that narrative. Like we just talked about Bitcoin in our previous video, and even in the video before that, well, in that video we're talking about USDT dominance, but that was the inverse of Bitcoin. So if you followed on that video correctly, you will know that Bitcoin still has it still has to go to somewhere around the lower 50s. We wouldn't want it to do that, but yeah, that's just what the charts are saying. However, when you come here to something like Solana on its Bitcoin pair, well, it's telling us that Sol has bottomed. That's what this chart is telling us right here. Like, even when you take the Fibonacci from the bottom to the top right here, it gives you the 0.786 at this exact region right here. And even when you factor in my other version of Fibonacci, which we like to call the VFib system, it gives you the 1.618 at this particular region. So for all intents and purposes, Sol should have bottomed at this particular point right here, and it should be going up like so. That is how it should ideally happen. However, we must consider unforeseen circumstances, and by unforeseen circumstances, we're talking about Trump's wars. Yeah, he may just wake up tomorrow and say that the deal is cancelled, and then maybe the next day the deal is back on the table, and then the next day the deal is finalized, and then the day after that we hear that he's putting tariffs on everybody else. So it is really these uncertainties with Trump that leaves us in limbo. Sometimes we are like, okay, what may be next? So according to this Solana chart right here, the unforeseen circumstances will most likely be here. This is to say that if Sol starts to plummet from here, or maybe even higher than here, then it will most likely end up here, and this right here will most likely be the bottom. What we are saying basically is that we don't have any other zones to the downside. Like, of course, it's possible that it goes lower, but we cannot prove that it will go lower. However, there's a chance that it comes into this zone right here, even though the charts do indicate that this right here should have been the bottom. Now, what the hell would this mean for the Sol USDT chart, you might ask? Because this is Sol on its BTC pair. And of course, it's also possible, and this is something that we really need to note here, that Sol can go up or stay stable on its BTC pair and actually plummet on its USDT pair. That, of course, will show us a deviation, meaning that Sol to BTC holders are actually confident in their holdings while retail is just selling for cheap dollars. So when we go to the Sol USDT pair, here is what we find. Let's go here. Alright, so here on the Sol to USDT pair, first of all, I actually did show this some time ago on TikTok, and I placed well, I didn't actually take this trade, which is what made me angry. You know, I did showcase that going long should be here. That is, you'll be taking the risk, yeah, because it could go lower, but this will be the ideal zone to go in on a long. And from that zone, Sol actually rose by about 33%. So if I did take this trade on a 10x leverage, then we're talking north of 330% gain. Anyway, so what would be the unforeseen circumstance that we just saw on Sol BTC extrapolated here on the Sol USDT chart? Well, that will be somewhere around $47 to $45. Again, we are not saying that it cannot go lower, but this will just be the ideal zone. Now, it's important to note that where I put this, my potential entry right here was the 2.618 Fibonacci. So if we quickly look at that, let's put that in yellow. So 2.618, and then the error margin will be the 3 fib level, yeah? So you see that my error margin is here at $35, meaning that whatever long I was taking here, the stop loss must have been below $35. So whatever dump is going to happen with Solana, that will most likely or ideally should not go lower than $35. So that's basically it. We would like these things to just go straight up, but I think there is a very good chance that we still have about 4 months to be in the trenches, and after that we will most likely rise up. And in that 4 months, I suspect that we will, of course, chop. But in that chop, a lot of people are going to lose confidence, and losing confidence, well, means plummet here on the charts. Anyway, folks, that's it. But I will see you in the next one. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. But until the next one, stay safe.